Look, I went to the chiropractor. It's bad news. This chip on my shoulder is permanent. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Bulletproof for BJJ podcast. The 3 surprising facts that will help you build your BJJ confidence. These are the things that you probably weren't expecting that can really help you unlock better jiu-jitsu through you feeling more confident in your game. Now, this is the thing, Joe. Recently, I've been having conversations with some people in jiu-jitsu who I think are very good. I think they're very good, but they're still not confident. It's crazy to me that they don't back themselves and they constantly feel like they're not good enough in jiu-jitsu. And I don't know if you've been talking to anyone recently, you've come across this kind of a thing.
Give me your not confident how.
Well, for example, they recently won a tournament, but then they're like, oh yeah, but in my gym I still lose. I'm not good enough. They feel like they don't hold up their rank, you know, even though they just smashed everyone in the competition.
Right.
And you're like, surely there's reasons for you to feel like, yeah, you've got some command of your game and you're good. But constantly I see this person, like it's a couple of people actually kind of either reaching out to me for reassurance, you know, and I'm no one, but they know me. And so they're asking me. And then I'm like, you're good, man. You got this. And it's weird that I feel like they are asking me to help them with their confidence. And they're probably already better than me at jiu-jitsu. You know what I mean? You probably would have seen this in the gym at least, where somebody is quite capable, but maybe they don't back themselves.
Yeah, I think, for sure. It's some people have a bit of that. I mean, we all have it to an extent, don't we? Like a bit of a self-limiting kind of mindset around things.
Potentially, yeah.
Which, I mean, we're not saying on the whole it's a bad thing, right? Because I'm guessing for some people, right, it's what pushes them to do more. It keeps them hungry. It's like, I'm not good enough. I got to.
I think for some people,
you feel a bit of that.
Yeah,
like a chip on the shoulder, prove something to the world kind of vibe.
Look, I went to the chiropractor. It's bad news. This chip on my shoulder is permanent. Look, I'm telling you, it's different for everybody, but in this situation, I'm talking about these people, I feel they're probably getting held back.
Right.
It's a negative experience.
Self-limiting beliefs are stopping them from reaching their potential.
Yeah, and I want to go into probably I think the other thing is they're quite humble people. An impediment I do not suffer. But here's the thing, like, in that way, the difference between confidence and arrogance. I think people are afraid to come off as arrogant. Like in Australian society, you know, we have this tall poppy syndrome. You don't want to be too good, because if you come off like really cocky or too good, you can get chopped down. You also don't want to be too dumb, because then people are going to make fun of you for being an idiot.
Don't want to be an idiot.
Dickhead. So, you know, we're all about that middle ground, which is a strange thing as an Australian culture. But interestingly enough, the difference, or the way it was explained to me, the difference between arrogance and confidence is your ability to back it up. You know, it's you say you can do something and you then demonstrate it. So therefore you should be confident. And yeah, that's all pretty well and good. But because there's such a stigma around having ego or being overconfident, people shy away from it because I don't want to be that guy. I don't want people to think poorly of me or anything like that. But I
don't want people to think I'm a wanker.
Nah, wanker. But here's the thing. This is something I can't remember where I got this, but it's really helped me. And this is this is the first surprising fact that I feel you can use to help improve your confidence in jiu-jitsu. In your jiu-jitsu is confidence is based in evidence. Look for evidence for you to be confident. Now, just put the emotions aside, put the imposter syndrome aside, put the emotions aside and go, what do I do well? Oh, I'm really good with sweeps. Or I'm really good. Once I get the back, I usually finish from there. Or I got a great guillotine. And so you can start to build the argument that you are good at jiu-jitsu from looking for the evidence, these little facts. I work really hard. I don't seem to have had the success I want, but I work hard. you should draw confidence from your work ethic. You know, this is a good thing. Or someone might be exceptionally fit, and so they tire their training partners out, but maybe they're not that technical. Well, if you've got that fitness base, you know where you need to work. Your fitness is good. Let's work a bit more on the technical aspects of your game. So what is great when you don't feel confident, look at what you do and look for 3 points of, like 3 facts, 3 aspects of your game that you can draw confidence from.
So with, say, your compadre there in question, the recent win of competition might be one of those things. Well, I won that competition.
Yeah, submitted everybody.
Submitted everyone. Okay, well, that's a tick. That's one thing.
Yeah.
What's another? Yeah, right.
And I think another thing is you can look at...
Because we have a bias there, don't we? We always have a bias of like, well, yeah, I did that, but that guy at training always f***s me up, or I keep making that same mistake. And you're like, whoa. We're talking 2 different things.
Yeah.
Like you won a competition, you submitted everyone. Yeah, you got outperformed in training, but they're not like, both of those do not equal you.
Yeah, that's right. It's not who you are as a person. But another thing might be, for example, you're in training and you don't get submitted often. Like people might pass your guard, they might get your back, or whatever they do, you get taken down, but you're very hard to submit. This is actually a really good quality. Where some people would just go, I just get bashed. They're all over me and I didn't get anywhere. I didn't submit anyone. But you go, but did you get submitted? No. Well, defensively, you're really good there. That's very positive because there is some people out there who only do well when they're winning. I don't know. You might know a person like this. Whereas once they kind of get ahead, they steamroll and they win. But if they get behind, they get a bad position, they kind of give up the ghost because they're not winning, right?
Yeah.
So I think there is a lot of value in the character trait of like not giving up and being kind of tough and always fighting out of submissions and like really working hard, even if you're not winning. I think there's huge value in that too.
Yeah.
And it probably speaks more to character more than specific jiu-jitsu skills.
Yeah, and I'm thinking like with that example of the person who's like, I just got bashed. It's kind of like you haven't actually looked at the intricacies of what's going on. You've just been like, they're all over me and I'm shit. Versus like, well, no, actually, you did these handful of things really well. There's a couple of things you didn't do great, but you're neglecting to realize that there was a lot of good things you did because you would have got bashed way worse if you didn't do those things.
That's right.
Yeah.
Like
maybe they wouldn't have just been all over you. They would have tapped you multiple times.
Yeah, definitely. And within being, you need to be able to celebrate yourself, like small wins. Like, I actually swept that guy tonight, or I swept that girl tonight. I never get any wins on them. Instead of remembering that they did tap you multiple times, you have to be able to take those little wins. Like you have to be able to fortify yourself mentally so you don't get beat down by sucking a lot, because so much of jiu-jitsu is you not doing well. You have to be able to celebrate the small wins. Now, I'm actually pretty bad at that in life. I was talking to my sister about this. It's just like, for me, I tend to only want to celebrate if it's like, we got 1 million downloads, or, we got the gold medal, or whatever it is. Like, whereas, really all the big wins are just a culmination of small wins anyway.
Yeah.
So if you're not in the habit of celebrating the small wins, then you're going to miss the evidence, which is why you should be confident.
Well, this is where something like the mono journal comes into play, isn't it?
That's true.
To have like a journaling process that actually asks you like, what are you excited about? What are you grateful for? Because I'm the same as you. I don't celebrate wins, and I'm only interested in like getting to the next thing.
Substantial.
Yeah, and then when you get there, the goalposts just shift again, and you're like, well, it's good, but it needs to be better.
Yeah.
And so when you have something like that, that's like forcing you, like, no, motherfucker, like
reflect.
Yeah, like reflect on something that's good, and you're like, God, okay, I passed JT's guard yesterday. It was a good day.
Glorious.
Yeah.
Speaking of God, point 2. No, it's real. This is real. Deal with me, people.
I've had that situation a couple of times recently where I've come to training with some water, but I haven't had any electrolytes, and I've finished training and I've had to go to a convenience shop and buy myself some kind of sports drink, usually a Gatorade. Cost me like $7. it's small, and it really doesn't contain that much of the good stuff that I'm looking for, which are the electrolytes. Sodi, on the other hand, is my partner when it comes to hydration, and I'd simply just run out of it. And it sucks because I got to go buy expensive stuff that doesn't do anywhere near as good a job. I'm super stoked that we've been restocked with the Sodi, and now I can be properly hydrated when I train jiu-jitsu. This has always been an underexplored aspect of my training, and I'm so stoked that we now have these guys in place to support us and also the listeners of the show. So if you want to be hydrated on the mats so that you can perform at your best and have the best mental clarity while training, get yourself some Sodi. Go to sodi.com.au. That's SODII.com.au. Get yourself some delicious hydration salts and use the code bulletproof15 for 15% off. Go to sodi.com.au. Get yourself hydrated.
Faith. Now, here's the thing. I am not a religious person. I'm not. I don't believe in predestiny, none of that.
But he does believe in Deus because that's part of the jiu-jitsu culture.
Obrigado, Deus.
Deus é fiel.
Yeah. But no. Honestly, like it was interesting because I saw a post from a friend of mine talking about God and faith in God. And it was interesting because whatever your background, religious belief, whatever, if you have a belief system and it works for you, that's good.
Yeah.
And it's actually been proven to keep you alive longer. Why? Because you believe that there's a structure, there's a rule, and there's God's plan, right? Like there's a purpose. And I think if you don't, I mean, obviously, all praise be to Helio. No, like if you don't have a jiu-jitsu God to pray to, I mean, you can always pray to us, whatever you like. It's one of those things that it's difficult to keep the faith when you're struggling. Here's the thing about confidence. When you have momentum, very easy. But you cop an injury, you cop a really bad loss.
Pointing at me when you said the injury point.
My hands are in the air.
This guy.
Sometimes I'm doing. Look,
shit.
say you've got
I'm
an
coming
ACL.
back.
Say you've got an ACL reconstruction. Say you want to whinge about it. I don't know. Good luck to you. But maybe you need to be more mindful, Joe. Pray up. Stay prayed up, my friends. No, I'm serious. Faith. Why? Because faith demands you believe in something you can't see or you can't feel. It demands that you trust in something kind of greater than yourself, right? And I'm not saying, there's a greater purpose. I'm not going to the afterlife here, people. But what I'm saying is when you are struggling in jiu-jitsu, that is often when you're getting better. Like when your muscles are sore from a workout, that is when you are growing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're not growing when you're banging and clanging the weights. And this was actually explained to me by Peter Devine very early in my jiu-jitsu journey because I actually did a bunch of winning early, like white belt, blue belt. I was winning a lot. And I took a pretty bad loss against a guy I'd beaten before. And
What's a bad loss look like?
I got injured.
Right.
I didn't tap. I was in triangle. I got like Kimura'd, popped my rotator cuff, got armbarred, popped ligament in my elbow. Ooh. Ended up tapping to the triangle. Yeah. Even though I was like,
okay, you got me.
Okay. Now I'm f***ed up. I should have tapped in the first place. And he said, nah, Chief, winning's overrated. You don't learn anything when you win. You only learn when you lose. You're going to learn a lot from this. I was like, all right, well, my fucking arms fucked and my shoulders fucked, but fine. And at the time, I was kind of depressed because I couldn't do jiu-jitsu and I was taking a really bad loss and all these factors, but I did learn about rehab from the injury and all this stuff. And obviously it didn't make me quit because I'm a very stubborn person. Other people out there might be less stubborn because they're less confident, whatever. So something like that might throw them off the path. Or
maybe not for a lack of confidence. Maybe they just make better decisions. Please go on.
they might make better decisions. But I'm saying that honestly, in those moments, you need faith in the fact that you are going to get better at jiu-jitsu. Like, this is part of a process. Like, I don't really like the saying, trust the process. But
no, but I when you were saying that, I'm like, it's a fair point, the faith thing. I'm an atheist. But I think, there is a faith, like I have an inherent faith in the process, which, trust the process gets said all the time. But, for good reason, right? It's like, know that this is part of it and that you are improving.
Yeah.
I also think there's an element of faith in like your work ethic. And I think about, say, for a lot of what I do, like with our work and with training and stuff, where I'm like, I have faith in my ability to continue working and I believe that that's going to produce a good outcome.
Yeah.
You know, and so I guess in believing that that's going to happen, there's some kind of faithful aspect to that, right?
Yeah. But I guess
because it definitely may not produce a good outcome, and then you're like, I tricked myself. I thought God was a real thing, and He wasn't, and here I am.
10 years.
Shit.
10 years. God. Should never gone to confession. The priest knows all my secrets. No, I mean, it's one of those things that we all need something to hang on to, right? And for many people, they put faith in their coach, or they put faith in an idol, Gordon Ryan, Craig Jones, whoever it might be. It might be a false idol. Whatever it might be, if it keeps you going, that's valuable. You know, like,
yeah.
I will always ask somebody, oh, you know, are you religious? And like, what's your faith? And how does that work for you? You know, because I have oftentimes in the past been throwing myself a pity party. And, you know, my best friend, he's one of my best friends, I should say, oldest friend. He will say, yeah, how's that working for you? Like, feeling good about yourself? Like, how's feeling sorry for yourself going to fix anything? You know what I mean? And in truth, when you are struggling and there's no obvious end in sight, if you can go, no, I will keep the faith in jiu-jitsu, in myself, in whatever it might be, you will get there. You know, we all know it's going to take us 10 to 15 years to get to black belt. Yet, we have this short-term thinking like, yeah, I got to win the next tournament and the next and the next and the next. And really, the loss and the lack of success is what will drive you to be successful. If you always win, if you're born in a Ferrari, you know, there's no need for you to want to push forward. And so I think having this idea of talent or being like gifted, that doesn't necessarily mean that you will end up being great at a thing.
Yeah.
So being challenged is actually a blessing.
A necessary input.
Yeah.
For success.
The stimulus. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want the best gear for BJJ, you need to go to parryathletics.com. These are our guys. They support the show. George, great guy, great creator, awesome colors, awesome styles, and also the best fit. It feels great. And that's the thing. It's not just that it looks good, it feels good. And the thing that for me, I love the most is I can wear the stuff at Jiu-Jitsu, but then also they've got that other side, the cool side where you can wear it off the mats. And they are our exclusive partner in apparel. If you want to get bulletproof gear, you've got to go to parryathletics.com. And when you buy anything at checkout, enter bulletproof20 for 20% off. Oh, yeah. Number 3, we're going to talk about a new concept, a different concept.
Ooh.
That you may have not heard of. I heard it and I was like, oh, do I like this? I think I do like this. Pronoia, not paranoia, not the fear that everyone is out to get you. Pronoia is the belief that it is acting in your favor. The universe is there to help you. Now, this might sound a little bit touchy-feely, and some of my weed heads out there are like, nah, man, everyone's out to get you. Look into it. But this is coming more from the perspective that if you believe something happens for you as opposed to you, this can really change the way you experience it. You're like, nah, this enabled me to go to the next thing. And that gym didn't work out, but that meant I went to this gym and I made a new set of friends. And like, there's always a way for you to find a benefit if you can frame it in that way. You're pronoid. You're thinking, that worked out. Oh, you know, like it is surprising how we default to the negative. We just do that. It's just a human thing because we don't want to be let down and we don't want to be disappointed. So we're like, nah, better to just be like, nah, it's not going to work. Like, better be slightly negative than disappointed. We fear disappointment and surprise. The reason why I say this is trusting in the universe, and I don't say this because I'm into like woo-woo energy healing. Trusting that things are working for you is also trusting in yourself. And this is the basis for confidence. The confidence that no matter what happens, you got this. Like you will be okay. Even if they completely reco your leg. You're going to get the surgery, you're going to rehab your knee, and you're going to get on with your life. You're not dead. You're not done. And if you can think about it, that there will be a benefit, there will be a golden pot at the end of the rainbow, there will be something in the future, that can help you endure the worst shit in your life. And that probably goes back to the faith thing, but it's more that there's so many little things that contribute to your success in life, or, however you want to look at it, that it's really hard to rule out the element of luck. The chance that there's some other guy that's kind of looks a little bit like me, maybe a similar height to me, same belt as me, Australian guy, personal trainer, kettlebells, good times guy, likes to talk some shit, happens to end up, we are friends, not mortal enemies, allegedly, is pure luck, my friends. Pure luck. You couldn't have planned it. We are too similar. It's crazy. Now, like I said, I don't believe in fate. I don't believe in anything in that. But I saw this guy and I was like, we're doing the same thing. Technically, we could be competition, but that doesn't make sense. We could be the greatest middle-class white boy rap group ever. That's what I thought to myself. We need to do a collaboration album. We could be the Beastie Boys of Australia.
There you go.
And then it was pure luck. And if you look at your life, there's so many things which was just by chance. Now, some people will say that was God's plan or that was this. And people attribute it to many things. And people will often attribute things to bad luck. But if you can frame the way the world works as it's acting for you, life is a much easier journey. That's what I want to say with this. Talk to me, Joe. How do you think about this? The skeptic in you is not hearing this.
No, I'm hearing you. I like it. I think for myself, I acknowledge, like with a discussion like this, right? I acknowledge that it's probably bullshit, right? It's probably bullshit, and you know why? And I don't want to get morbid, right?
It's cool.
But does the kid in Gaza who just lost their parents, do they also think that the universe is acting on their behalf, right? And so,
sure.
And so I can't help but go to that but that said, right? That said, I still, and you said it before with an earlier point, that even if you believe or not, faith will serve you, right? And it's been shown that like having belief in something, like, right? And so.
But wouldn't you, on the flip side of that coin, wouldn't that then make us lucky to be born Australians and born right here, right now?
Yeah, lucky.
Right. Yeah, that's just luck.
Well, that's just luck.
But what I'm saying is, like, if you can believe in luck, then you can also believe that things can work out for you too. As much as there's tragedy and terrible
of course,
things in the world.
Things always can work out, or things can always not work out. Right?
Sure.
I could have good luck, I could have terrible luck, or anything in between.
But how you perceive it will really reflect on how you.
Yeah, so I think that's the thing, is like being able to view things with the most amount of utility and like positive utility that you can. So like, yeah, that fucked up thing happened to me. Okay, what strength did that give me? What positive did I get from that? And I say that as someone, like, middle-class white boy, never had any great tragedies in my life. I'm sure there's people that are just like, it is not possible for me to reflect on that and talk about
cannot relate
the good thing that came from it. But I do think for most of us, it's like, the shit that we hold on to as like being really like being bad or whatever in our training, in our day-to-day life, is like, well, okay, is it really that bad? What good can you take from it? So even though I look at it kind of cynically, I do think there's a power to using it.
Well, look, if you train Jiu-Jitsu and you're listening to this podcast, you're fucking lucky. I don't care what you say. Like, if you have the ability to access technology that allows you to listen to a podcast, you got the time, energy, and chill to do that, you're blessed up, right?
Yeah.
And in that way, there is unspeakable tragedy in the world. I can't account for that. But what I'm trying to say here is, if you're somebody who thinks you're down on your luck, or you think you're someone who, I have no reason to be confident, or I don't back myself, you are as fortunate or as well positioned as any person in the world if you can hear this right now. So in that way, trust in yourself and trust that the universe is acting in your favor, and this can steer you to feeling more positive about your game, which can have a positive upward spiral. This isn't the secret. This isn't like manifest. Plenty of motherfuckers out there talking manifest.
It's a little
It
bit
f***ing
secret.
isn't, Joe.
It's a little bit.
It f***ing isn't. Hear me, people. I am saying, for example, you get cut off in traffic and you're like,
Yeah.
F*** that guy. But maybe that person saved you from an accident. You know what I mean? You don't know the near misses in your life. You can't perceive it. But if you can just take the perspective that that served you, then you're less likely to be f***ing angry and fuming. Like, you you know, like you just, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
there's ways that you can save
Glass half
yourself
full.
stress if you can approach it that way.
Absolutely. Yeah, I do. I think that, like, in practical terms, you, like, your lot is kind of what it is, right? And so then all you really have control of is how you respond to the things
Yes,
that
sir.
happen in your life. And of course you have control over other parts of the direction of your life. But so if you can come at things with optimism and with like, okay, well, how can I, like, what's the benefit of that?
Make the most of this.
Yeah, then that is like, that is a huge uptick on like whatever it is you want, good outcomes.
Yeah.
Right. Versus like, oh, that was I got cut off. That guy's a yeah.
It's just me trying to beat Joey to the podcast in traffic. It's like, who's that guy in the oh, it's JT in the Holden prick. Beat me again. Look, here's the thing, folks. There's many things in society that will rob you of your sense of agency. There's many things that will make you feel powerless, whether it's a presidential election or a war or a divorce or whatever the it is. That won't help you. It won't help your jiu-jitsu and it won't help you as an individual. You have to fight so hard to maintain your mental and philosophical strength that you will get there. You will be successful. It doesn't mean you will, but you increase your chances by being resilient and being solid in the belief that I can do this. And the more you are able to search for the evidence, the more you're able to keep the faith. And the more you're able to believe that it's possible, it is more possible. Because as soon as you believe it's not, it's definitely not. So that's why I'm making this argument for you to find that confidence, get that evidence, get that faith, get that belief, and then trust yourself to do it because you're going to do this and you got this.
Boom. Shout out Anthony Robbins.